Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 29th of April to the 2nd of May 2024. It's May Day. Are we officially in the summer now? Does that count? It's getting a little bit hotter. A little bit, in the UK anyway. Everywhere else in the world, your weather's probably beautiful. Not in the UK. We had the dullest rain, dullest April on record, and now we're slowly getting a little bit hotter. And that's this week's weather. Now back to the studio. Hello, Ray. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, Rob. Yeah, the weather sounds great over there.
Yeah,
it is. Over there.
Yeah, you are over there. You're not that far away from me, really, are you? How are you this
week? It's
week?
getting a bit warmer, though. All right, thanks. Yeah, the weather's making things nicer. Do you know what? Do you know what I love about the warmer days?
What's that?
Now that I'm a mum, you're gonna rip on me for this.
Okay, I'm ready.
You can hang your washing out to dry on the washing line. That is the best thing about.
That's the best thing, is it?
Days getting warmer.
Best thing about being a mother is that you get to hang your knickers out. Yeah, it's great.
I don't hang undies out there. I think that's a bit too much.
That's common, isn't it? Common.
Yeah.
Common.
I don't know about common, but I don't know. You never know who's looking and who might try and break into your garden, do you?
I know, still your knickers. You do not know in this day and age, do you? Right, ladies and gents, it is now May, so that means it's time for a calendar change. So we have gone from... Hope you enjoyed the fireworks, and in case you've missed any details of this calendar, this is the calendar that recreated for me for the year. Ree, anything to say about May's picture?
It's going to be fabulous, I'm
is
sure.
It? Yeah,
yes.
You cannot remember at all, can you?
I'm glad that I can't remember because I feel
it's a nice surprise for you, isn't it? This is the bit that works amazingly for the audio listeners, as always. If you'd like to see what's on the calendar, you have to come onto YouTube and have a look.
I can offer a visual description as you're doing it if you'd like, Rob.
Yes, you can. And this is May's picture.
It's just a lovely photo of Peggy with her 3 children.
Yes.
Phil, Grant and Sam. And do you know what? There aren't that many pictures of her with all 3 kids.
No, I bet they're not, especially with that Sam.
Yeah, with Kim Metcalf Sam. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Grant in his leather jacket. Peggy's
we had to have one of her weird
Peggy's in a leather jacket as well,
Well, I'm guessing Phil looks a bit drunk, so it's definitely Naughty's era. I think leather jackets were quite in then.
Yeah,
I think late noughties.
Yeah, I think he's holding an orange juice. I can just about see through. I think just about see through the picture. I think he's holding an orange juice there, but he might not be.
Bucks Fizz.
Might be a Bucks Fizz. He might have snuck a vodka in there. You know, Phil. Yeah. Right, that's May's picture. Marvellous. Stick that up on the wall in a moment. As for this week, I enjoyed this week. I thought this was a very, very good week. I really did. Minus the random celebrity appearance, which was what it was, I think. You know, either you loved it or you sort of just were like, yeah. I think it depends on what your views on Eurovision are, really, doesn't it? I'm not like...
Does it? Because I'm indifferent to Eurovision.
I'm completely indifferent to Eurovision. Like, I might watch it on the night, but...
And people enjoy it, that's nice. Like, I'm not fussed.
Having said that, I would say that Ollie Alexander is probably the biggest entry that we've had in the UK for the Eurovision for years and years. That's how you do an Ollie Alexander pun. Alexander. Right. So, we will talk about this week's EastEnders very shortly. We're going to start with the return. I think some people were surprised to see the return of a certain Miss Jackson. Were you happy? Very
happy. Yes. I love me some Bianca.
Right, let's get on with it in this week's Albert Square After Dark. So, let's kick off this week's discussion. We're talking about Whitney and Zach and Lauren and Bianca, who made a return this week. Genuinely, I mean, I think we knew that she was coming back this week because we'd seen pictures, but there was a lot of talk online. I was like, oh my God, Bianca's back. I didn't expect that. Like, some people got genuinely surprised when she turned up in that Mexican van.
I would have been surprised had I not seen the spoiler picture.
Were you not doing a podcast? Were you not doing a podcast and you wouldn't have seen all the spoiler pictures, I imagine?
I know, it's so annoying. It's so annoying, but hey ho.
Hey ho. I mean, we'll talk about that Bernie and Bianca thing. This is the trials that we go through for you, listener and viewer.
By the way, actually talking of which, with the Mexican van, that were a load of rubbish, right?
Where did that come from? I don't know. They didn't really refer to that ever again. And I'm sort of, I got the impression that she wasn't being honest about it. But then I wonder whether that was just supposed to be a moment where we're supposed to be going, oh, Bianca, what you like, eh?
Oh, do you think? Because No,
rather than
why
it
bring
being
a
something. I
why bring a
know.
Mexican van into it?
I
Why
don't
not
know
just get
whether
off
it.
at Tube and turn up with your bags or something?
I know. I don't know whether it was supposed to be a sort of thing that we're supposed to be like, what's that about? Or whether it was just, let's bring Bianca back in the craziest way we possibly can. I don't know.
Nah, I think it was a what's that about moment personally.
Stick a pin in it, Ray. We'll stick a pin in it because
I
she's
were
back for a
also
few
like,
weeks. It turns
did
out.
you? Sorry as well. Sorry on that note there. Sonia were like, hey, you can't park that there, not knowing it would be Bianca. Like, who are you to be telling people where they can and can't park?
Sonia has got this habit of just having a go at of having a go at
Like,
people. She opens her window and yells at
yeah,
random
stop making
passers-by,
noise
"I'm on
outside.
nights, I'm on nights, you know," and then just yells at people parking there. Why can't they park there?
That's
Why?
what
What's your
I
problem?
mean.
It's
That's
a
what I
street.
mean.
There's no double yellow
Yeah.
lines. What's
They've
your
not
problem,
got
Sonia?
permits outside for like directly
No,
outside the
there
house.
isn't a no Mexican van sign outside your house, Sonia. For God's sake, get a grip, love.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bianca
Anyway, sorry.
returns.
Yes.
Bianca returns, and I am pleased to see it because actually, oh my God, was she back this week in proper full
Mm-hmm.
Bianca mode, wasn't she? Because I remember the last
Yes.
time Bianca came back for Whitney's wedding to Callum, I thought she was quite sort of understated for Bianca.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she
Yeah. Yeah.
had this whole thing with Leo and all that kind of thing, but she didn't like have like crazy sort of random bouts of violence like Bianca is prone to, like she did this week.
Mm-hmm. We
Full on
saw
Bianca
we
back.
saw full on Bianca, didn't we,
Oh,
this
we did
week?
indeed. But it's good to see her again. So she turns up, instantly sort of offends Reese because
Instantly.
instantly it's like, yep, Bianca's back. There we go. And it turns out that she is properly back for a little while until Whitney leaves. I think this is,
Yeah.
which is nice. We get a few weeks of Bianca, which
I
is
wasn't
quite good to see.
expecting that
No,
either. So I'm
I
very
thought
pleased about that.
I thought she'd be back for like this week, but I'm seeing like
Yeah.
like spoiler descriptions in a few weeks, and she's still like being mentioned in it. So I think she's here until Whitney goes. To be honest, which is
Well,
lovely.
I've only made that assumption. See, I've not seen any further spoilers, but she said that she was going to start working in the cafe again. Oh, like, she must be back
She's
for a few
lovely.
weeks then.
Bianca
Yeah,
back in the calf.
brilliant.
Really nice.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah, nice. It's
Perfect.
really nice because she belongs there. If you were to give like
Yeah.
a place where Bianca belongs, apart from her
Yeah.
old house, it'd be the calf, which is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Definitely.
I
Hmm.
mean, it's amazing that anyone could just walk onto that square and say, "Give us a job," then, and they just get a job. It's great.
It's
The
Vinny though, isn't
unemployment
it?
rate in Walford is practically zero. It's marvelous.
But do you know, do you think her and Priya are going to be friends or something?
I don't know. They're either going to clash or they're going to get on really, really well.
I thought Priya was smiling at her like, I like the look of you. So I think
Likes the
that they
cut of
might
her jib.
actually get on. Yeah,
Yeah,
cut of a
yeah.
jib. Yeah,
Bring it on.
that's the
Bring it on,
one.
I say. I keep forgetting that Vinny basically owns the calf at the moment.
I loved how she was like, what would she say? Like, I work in that cafe while you were watching Pepper, mate. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, too right.
she
Too
does.
right,
She was
Bianca.
indeed, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, it makes me laugh with Bianca at the moment because she's so, like, all of a sudden, she's so full of wisdom. She's come back like this philosopher and, like, sort of like she knows stuff now because she's not old, but she's older
She's
than
older,
older. She's
yeah,
the
yeah.
old. Well, she's the oldest we've ever known her, basically, isn't
Well,
she? She's
yes,
a
that
proper
is true, Rob.
middle aged woman now, isn't she?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she knows stuff and she like offers advice. No more so. I really liked this moment when she and Bernie had that conversation. So
Yes.
Bernie came back. Vinny turned around to Bernie and went, "Do you want to come in? Have a look at the calf?" But why would she want to?
Such a Vinny
Vinny.
move.
Such a Vinny move. Got no idea what he's doing, has he? Bless him. And there was just that really nice moment of Bianca and
Bernadette.
Bernie having this really nice conversation, like sharing the fact that they both lost brothers. Like really nice. I liked that.
Can I just ask, and I'm sorry if you don't recall this, but I was trying to figure out, had Bianca ever met Bernie before? Because obviously Tiffany were like best mates with her.
I think they will have met at some point
They
briefly.
have at
Like
some point.
I think
Okay.
she would have met maybe off screen. I don't know if they've ever
Right.
shared any on screen moments together. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I think they definitely will have met off screen at some
Yeah.
point. So they're sort of aware of each other for sure. I have to say though, the highlight of that scene was Linda, who
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
I love Linda drunk. I know it's a
So
really
do
bad thing
I.
to
I
say.
know
She's
it's
so
I
funny when she's
know.
drunk. Like
She's very good at it, that's why.
having a whole conversation with Bianca, and then suddenly realizing who she was talking to.
Yeah.
Bianca. But you know what? I'll have to say, I stand by what I've always said about this storyline with Linda. It's been going on for about 4 years now, by the way. This story, if not
Yeah,
longer.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's really nice is that she can do like a really funny kind of drunken comedy performance, like forgetting not realizing who she's talking to, and then it's immediately juxtaposed, juxtaposed. Juxtaposed. Yes, juxtaposed. That's the word I'm looking for. Juxtaposed with like the sort of sadness of the fact that she's like having to cling onto the fence for support. So it just like you kind of have the comedy in one hand and immediately the tragedy of a situation with the other. It's really nice. I love the way that they're doing this story.
Used to get that with Phil quite a lot as well. I think on Phil,
and it's the fact that everybody is sort of just like leaving her to it at this stage, and like all she'll get really is sort of like the odd sympathetic glance from a character, but they'll just sort of leave her to it, and she just randomly gets hammered during the day, and there's not a lot anyone can do about it.
I think we've mentioned it before. What else can they do? Because at least you know that she's on the square and you're keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're not staying here while you're drinking, she's going to be off doing all sorts.
Yeah.
At least the worst that she's done, I guess, is walk across the square drunk.
Yeah. I mean, they've cut the thing. I think
she killed Keanu, but other than that,
that tiny detail. But I just love the fact that and basically it just seems that the Knights and her have kind of got into a bit of a routine to work around her drinking, like looking after the kids, and then Linda can sort of get hammered during the day, and they're sort of working their way around it. And she'll occasionally throw in, "Oh, I want to quit." But then the family is just sort of nodding along, going, "Yeah, well, that would be lovely if you want to do that. That would be great. Cheers." Yeah. So watch your space with that. But I mean, at some point, you're going to have the invariable scene of her having to go to the doctors and being told that her liver is pickled, and if she has one more drink, she might die. That. Something will come at some point, and I will miss drunken Linda massively because it's just brilliant. Anyway, so. The main thing for Bianca this week was that she managed to find out about Lauren and Zach for a little bit of a misunderstanding.
Yes, that was quite cleverly done, to be fair, actually.
I think it made sense, because it was sort of related back to a conversation that she'd had with Linda about when he was with Nancy, and I think it's like she brought that up, and Zach automatically thought that she was talking about Lauren. I thought because there's so many ways to do that, and it does feel forced when they do it, and there's so many forced ways of doing that. But I think that was kind of quite an understandable route of confusion to get to that point. So I think that worked.
Yeah, definitely.
And Bianca's response to that is to just storm out, slap Lauren, slap Zach. Yep, Bianca's back.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking as well. I was figuring out that's a cousin, isn't it, Lauren?
Yes.
Bianca and Lauren are cousins. Yeah. So I remember because Lauren was like, "Oh, nice to see you, Bianca." Slap. What did she call you, dirty cow or something?
Dirty cow, as bad as your father.
Dirty cow. Dirty cow. By the way, I was wondering, you don't think they're going to make Lauren get pregnant, do you?
I hope not. Not yet, anyway.
You never
give it time. I mean, I figure that when Whitney goes, Zach and Lauren are the future. I guess. Yeah. And then I'm sure something will happen with Penny further down the line because Zach's just this Lothario who can't keep it in his pants. It's basically Zach, isn't it? So and then basically the whole week kind of revolves around like the fact that Bianca knows the secret and Zach is basically trying to kind of keep it under wraps. No, I'll tell her. I will tell her. But then the whole matter is massively complicated by the fact that Reese accidentally reveals to a social worker about the sort of the situation with Debbie. Or who was it?
Weren't that the head teacher?
No, I think it was
a school or a teacher from the school.
I want to say it was a social worker, but it was somebody basically in an authority. It might have been. It might have been. But either way, it's basically. I can't remember.
Why do they have all these official meetings in cafes and McClunkies?
In McClunkies.
Yeah, that one would be McClunkies. I know.
If I was if you're meeting your your daughter's head teacher or your social worker or something, you're taking her to the local kebab shop. Is that what you're doing? The local fried chicken shop? I'll take you there. Yeah.
Can we eat KFC? Actually,
yeah.
I could do with.
Just meet you in Little Chef.
Yeah, bucket share maybe. Yeah.
No, with the price of KFC these days, you're having a laugh. Jesus Christ! Oh, it's so expensive.
I know, right?
Anyway, and so now basically what happens is that the social turn up at Whitney's door and take Brittany away because they have discovered basically that things are not as honest as they were led to believe.
Well, that she lied to the school. No, because she was from the school. Lied to the school. She went, "Oh, she's not Brittany's mother," because she was pretending to the school that she was actually a mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've gone in and gone, you've been committing fraud, pretending to be a mum, essentially. Yeah.
Yes, and so then the only kind of solution that Zach can think of, A, to keep Bianca's gob shut, and B, to sort of try and resolve the situation somewhat, is to try and get in touch with Keeley. Keely's back on the square this week. I've got to say, I do like Keeley. She's got a I suspect we're not going to see very much more of her, which is a shame because I think that the actress is really, really good. And there was a real sympathy for Keeley this week, I thought. I thought there was a sympathetic side to her. She wasn't sort of like this hard-faced unsympathetic drug addict that we'd led to believe when we first
Ooh,
met her.
interesting. Because all while this is playing out, I still can't quite figure out how Whitney's going to leave. But now you've
No.
just said that, you don't think that they're going to just end up agreeing to live together and she's going to help Keely along the way or something like that,
Well,
maybe?
so I
I
mean,
don't know.
presumably the catalyst for Whitney leaving is going to be when she finds out about Lauren.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
the main thing in which she goes, "Oh, do you know what? See you later. I'm done here.
Yeah,
Goodbye."
but I still don't know why she would leave the square when she's got Zach's kid. Do you know what I mean? I still
Mm.
can't quite figure that out. So she's making this huge deal about getting Brittany settled. So why would she then leave? That's what I can't figure out.
Well, I figure that it'll be a combination of the two. Like maybe there'll be a moment where she'll move back to Milton Keynes with Bianca. This is what I think is going to
Yeah,
happen. She'll find out about
yeah, she's
Lauren.
gonna go back
She'll
with
yell at
Bianca.
Bianca.
Yeah, yeah.
She'll yell at Bianca a bit for keeping it a secret, and then ultimately her, Brittany, and Bianca will
And
go back to
Bianca will go
Milton
back to.
Keynes, and then her and them and Keely will be able to work out some sort of relationship.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then what will happen is James Farrar can go off and go and see Whitney whenever Zach needs a break. So I think that's basically going to be where
yeah.
it is. I mean,
Okay.
how far gone is Whitney now? Do you reckon that she? I don't think
I don't
she's going to
even
be able.
remember now what she last said.
I don't think she's going to be able to give birth before she leaves, is she?
I don't know.
I think she's
You
too early
know,
for. I think she's too early for that.
I'm not sure because was she about? I think she was about 5 months when she had the car accident and she was in Milton Keynes. How long ago was that?
And I mean, it's still too early for her to be having the kid. I mean, if she goes into labour, then that's going to be not good. I think at this stage.
I
I
don't know.
think.
Let's look it up in a bit.
Let us look in the
When we have a
comment
little
section,
break.
but well, yes, well, let us know in the comment section. But I'm fairly
Yeah.
sure it's too. I think it's far too early for her to be giving birth
When's
at the
she
moment.
actually leaving there? When's Whitney
I
officially
think
got?
this at some point
This
this
month?
month. Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah, in
yeah,
that case, it's too
yeah. I
soon.
think it
Yeah.
is too early, isn't it? So I mean, how do you? So yeah, I mean, how do you think this is now going to play out? Because should they manage to get Brittany back? Everything seems to be sort of
Mm.
happy, and Bianca is kind of keeping a gob zipped for now. That's not going to last though.
Maybe it's going to be Lauren who's going to spill because
A bit of
we're
guilt.
having some scenes with Lauren being like, oh my God, I'm turning into my dad. And, we don't want to.
Well, the
It's an
week ends with
awkward
Whitney
one, isn't
proposing
it?
to him, doesn't it? Like
Oh,
Whitney
yeah, of
proposes to Zach,
course.
watched by Ollie Alexander, and,
Yeah. And
uh,
Lauren.
and Lauren. Like Lauren sort of sees it and then sort of walks out. So is Lauren sort of harboring more feelings than she's kind of giving away there? Do we think?
I think that she is, but I think a lot of it, I think it'll just be the guilt thing, and I think it
Mm,
could be Lauren. But it's awkward, isn't it? Because I don't think anyone wants to be the person to reveal it to Whitney and put her under stress while she's
mm.
pregnant. Otherwise, Bianca would have told her by now. But the fact that she's pregnant and was already stressed about the Brittany thing,
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be
or is it going
Lauren
to be
or
Penny?
Bianca.
Or
Well, Penny
Penny,
doesn't know
maybe?
yet. I mean, Penny doesn't know yet.
Yet.
She might find out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I also, well, I don't know whether Bianca will be able to keep it a secret for that long. I feel like if Zach puts one toe out of line, then Bianca will
mm.
just blab.
Like I say, it's just awkward because she's pregnant. You don't want to cause her,
Mm,
unnecessary stress. Although you could, I guess this is kind of necessary stress to be fair. But
mm. Going to
mm,
be interesting. So with Bianca now in the square for a little while, I'm hoping that we might get a scene between her and Cindy because Cindy will have been around when Bianca was around. So I wonder if they're gonna have their
ooh,
moment. I'd quite like it if Bianca doesn't know that she's alive yet. I bet she does because I'm sure someone will have told her. But I would quite like it if Bianca has that moment of, sorry, how are you alive? What's going on here, please?
yeah,
That would
that
be
would have
quite
been
nice.
no. She'll have known by now. She'll
I think
know
she
by
probably will
now.
have known. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be nice. But Bianca in the calf for a little while, that's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to. I mean, even if we've only got it for like another couple of weeks, that's going to be nice. Just to
and
sort of.
it's a great way of him doing it
Mm.
whilst to give Bernie some time, so we know everyone knows it's temporary. I think it's great that he's
Do you think
done
Bernie
that.
will go back on the calf to work again?
I feel like she's going to, yeah, she's going to have this time while Bianca's there. Realistically, I don't think that she would, but I
I don't think you
think,
would you? I don't think you would.
no,
I
I don't
couldn't.
think you would, but I think that she will because where else is Bernie going to go and what else is she going to
She
do?
could go back in the Vic kitchen. Quite liked it
Yeah,
there.
but she were only there when they were doing breakfasts, weren't she?
Mm.
I don't think they're doing them since Cass reopened.
Don't get me wrong. I think the calf has been the making of Bernie. I really like her in there.
Exactly. Exactly.
She's a great character for the calf.
Mm,
So I hope she goes back in there because it really suits her
mm.
as a character. But I feel like you would struggle to go back in there, like
I
just
think realistically you
walking
would,
along the
but
floor where your brother was found dead. You know, I think that would be difficult.
mm, definitely. Or alternatively, she could go and work at the Albert alongside Felix.
She
maybe.
spends enough time in there. She loves it in there, does Bernie,
Mm,
doesn't she? I'll have to wait
mm.
and see. But yes, good stuff with Bianca this week. Really looking forward to sort of seeing how that plays out. Right, ladies and gents, let's move on to the next story. Okay, a bit of a brief discussion now about Yolandi and Patrick and Clayton, the evil Pastor Clayton. Um, Basically what happens this week is that Yolandi is making people worried, isn't she, with her behavior?
Mm.
Like her and Patrick has absolutely no idea what was going on. Like sort of kind of where we thought this was going to go next, wasn't it? Where Patrick's sort of like, trying to touch her or hug her and she's kind of get off. Um
Flinching.
Flinching and just being really sort of just acting really out of character for herself. And what was interesting this week is that she's really questioning her faith. There was a nice scene between her and
Hmm.
Jean in the laundrette where she kind of basically said, I don't know what to do now with my
I'm
faith,
having a crisis of faith.
Yeah,
That, I mean, can't relate because we're not
no,
speaking for you as well, but we're not religious, are we? But
no.
to think that you might have something that you strongly believe in, and then
Mm.
all of a sudden you're completely questioning it.
Yeah,
Something that's
because
like,
I always question like how somebody deals with their faith when something really horribly traumatic
mm,
happens to them like
yeah.
that. Like, how do you process that in terms
I
of like
mean,
why? What
even
did I
if
do
it
wrong?
was something,
It's
yeah, if it was something traumatic that happened outside of church and was unrelated to church,
yeah,
somebody
but
might
that's
have a
even
crisis
worse,
of
isn't it? That's
faith.
even worse,
But
isn't it?
because
Yeah,
yeah,
mm,
because it's
yeah,
happened in church and by a pastor,
yeah. It's
yeah,
interesting.
it's no wonder. But she's having a crisis of faith, but she is still, she's still praying and asking for
Well,
that guidance.
she is still praying
So
to the point where she nearly sets fire to the kitchen at one point.
yeah,
And she's also like kind of attracting alarm bells with the fact that she basically tries to
yeah.
distract herself from it all, I think, this week when she's talking to Chelsea about getting Jordan baptized.
Hmm.
Now, Chelsea, I think, is on the same boat as me and you are, where she's sort of like, no, I don't really need him baptizing, thanks very much, but it's all about sort of Yolandi basically trying to distract herself from what's going on. We see some more of Levi this week as well. I feel
Hmm.
like because I've heard rumblings that there's a big Chelsea story coming at some
Oh, so
point
you
this
think it
year.
could be related with him?
It seems that way, but
I didn't. I've just been seeing him as like a little bit of a middleman
mm,
between the Truman clan and Pastor
yeah,
Clayton,
they've.
personally. But you could be right.
Well, I feel like they keeping him around for a reason. Like he's not a big part of anything at the moment, but they've sort of made a
Mm.
point of telling us what his name is, telling him that Chelsea sort of wrote
Chelsea's kind of
Chelsea's kind of
interested.
into
Yeah.
him, and he's sort of hanging around a little bit.
You don't think
So
Chelsea's going to suddenly turn religious or something?
mm, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I
I'd
feel
be
like.
surprised at that character turn around, given the history with the father as well, and
Well, yeah, exactly. I think the last thing Chelsea would be is religious, but you never know. It might be interesting for her to have maybe a slightly more healthy relationship with religion if Levi turns out to be a
Mm.
good one. But unfortunately, because he's a new man, we instantly don't trust him. So if something bad's going to happen with Levi, who knows?
Oh, I've not
He seems
distrusted
all
him
right so
straight
far.
away.
He seems all right
Because
so
surely
far.
we can't have, because he's about to become a pastor as well. We can't have two bad pastors, right? Surely not.
No, no.
Surely not.
Surely not. Wait, watch this space with that, I think.
Mm.
But yeah, there was some horrible sort of taunting going on with Clayton this week, like sort of the really kind of creepy scene where they were
Really
talking.
nasty,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was. I really like the way that scene was blocked, like sort of like they're talking via the
Over the
fence.
fence,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then like the gate appears, and Andy's sort of like,
Mm.
oh, that barrier between us is suddenly gone. That was really nicely filmed.
Mm.
That scene, I liked it a lot. Um, However, the really, really, really exciting part of this is that this week it was announced that next week we should be getting a two-hander between Patrick and Yolandi.
Yes.
I can't
Very,
wait. This is our
yeah.
second two-handery. We've not had like with the Clan Zero, he knows this show, and this is
Yeah,
our
yeah,
second
yeah,
two-hander. We
yeah.
had one with Jay and Lola, but I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like this one is going to be a lot more traditional in the
Yeah,
sense of
definitely.
this
Because
feels like
yeah,
it's going to be a seat. It's basically going to be like in the Fox Truman house, just
yeah,
between Patrick and Yolandi.
yeah.
And this is spoiler alert, siren, siren,
Spoiler,
siren.
I was
But
just gonna say, yeah.
exciting that you should know this. Gives you so much to look forward to with this week, where she will
I've
tell
read that
Patrick what's gone
I've
on.
read that there's gonna be some flashbacks as well, but I don't know.
I
Have
think
I
that
read
was.
that
I
right?
think
Have
that
you
was. I
read
think
that?
that. No, I think that was regarding the actual episode where it happened. That's
Oh,
when the
okay.
flashbacks happen. I think this is more to
Right,
do with.
okay. This is literally just gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah. I
right,
think,
okay.
as far as I can tell, this is literally just going to be the two of them talking, and it's going to be written by Lauren Clee, which we are excited
Yes.
about these
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Very, very good. So yeah, really, really looking forward to that. That is next Tuesday, I think that episode is
Yes,
going
it
to be
is
airing.
Tuesday. Yes,
Very
exciting.
excited about
I
that.
mean, not
Really am.
excited like because of the
No,
story,
but it's going to
but
be
exciting
amazing.
for us to watch.
Rudolph
Yeah,
Walker and Angela Winter doing a two-hander together. Yes, please.
and it's going to be interesting to see how Patrick takes on the news as well.
How do you think
Because
he's going to react to it?
with anger at
He's going to go mad,
first,
isn't he? He's going to go absolutely mad.
I think we're gonna have that moment like we had. Was she called Sarah in the flashbacks of Pastor Clayton's
Mm.
victims, and she was
Yes,
telling her
the
husband and
husband
trying
like
to stop
storming
him
out.
from
Yeah,
leaving? I think we're
that
gonna
would
have all of
be
that.
if Yolandi was like one of those people. That would be the moment that we'd see if we were flashing back, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna have a moment like that. I don't know how's Patrick gonna handle it moving forward himself. I don't.
I mean, I do think that at some point Denzel's going to find out what went on, and then we're
Oh
going to
yeah,
get
still, yeah, yeah.
Denzel the Hulk sort of
Well, Denzel
attack him
called Pastor Clayton's number from day one,
right
didn't
from
he?
day one. Yeah. So yeah,
We're Imavani and Nugget, yeah.
yeah.
They
Oh,
knew
I can't
straight
wait.
away.
I cannot wait. I'm very, very excited
Mm.
about this. So yeah.
It's
That's
also not
basically.
nice seeing Yolandi like
Oh, she's
struggling
really
so much and
struggling with
not
this so much,
talking to
isn't she?
anyone.
She's really
Because we've
struggling with
not
this
seen
so
her talk
much.
to Elaine this week, who's the only person that we
No.
know knows. So at least she's going to have that. Like, I think it's going to be good for Yolandi that at least she can go to Patrick, hopefully now.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's going to be Elaine that sort of pushes the conversation between the two of them
Interesting.
together.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Yeah, because we've seen Elaine's, yeah, been a bit
Elaine
involved
sort
in
of
their
Elaine, I
relationship
think, is sort
in
of
a good way.
yeah, I think Elaine has dealt with it quite well so far in terms of because her hands are tied basically. Like she clearly
Yeah, yeah.
wants, she would love to go straight to the police, and she'd clearly love to just punch Clayton in the face, but she
Mm-hmm.
can't do either of those things at the moment
No.
because she's trying to get, she can't just keep Yolanda's trust because she's been trusted
Mm-hmm.
with this really horrific secret.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? And I think the whole thing with Elaine is that she's trying to sort of basically make up for how rubbish she was during Linda's
Mm-hmm.
attack. So
Definitely.
it's interesting. I cannot wait for this two-hander. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing. That's going to be the highlight of next week for sure.
Definitely.
Right, ladies and gents. Another brief little story before we get on to the biggest story of the week. So let's talk about that. Okay, before we get to the big storyline, we'll have a brief discussion about what went on with the Knights this week. Basically, this
Mm.
week, Anna is trying to get in touch with Eddie to try and sort of work her way into getting George to Gloria's funeral. However, as it transpires, the funeral's already happened and he's missed it.
She's a she's a day too late, isn't
Day
she?
too late. That's mean, isn't it?
So he claims, but I also believe it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, either way, George ain't going to that funeral. Which, oh,
No.
that's when Anna said that, I was like, my mouth genuinely fell open. I was kind of like, that's bad. That's
Yeah,
really bad.
yeah.
Mm.
I
That
mean,
one
what
final dig from Eddie before, like, yeah, that's just awful. Poor George.
mhm.
However, what I would say about this week, again, we had some news released this week, Ree. We
Oh,
are
spoiler alert,
finally,
spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We are finally going to be meeting Junior. A trailer
Mm-hmm.
was released yesterday at the end of the episode, or yesterday as we're recording. And then the is released that George Knight is about to get the shock of his life as he comes face to face with Junior Knight, his estranged son. With a complicated father-son relationship spanning decades, Junior arrives in Walford as George continues to spiral following Gloria's death. Whilst the reasonings behind their estrangement and the circumstances relating to their shock reunion remain under wraps, it soon becomes apparent that George's enigmatic firstborn may be keeping a few cards close to his chest. And Junior is going to be played by Mika Balfour. So this is very exciting. We've been saying for a while
Mm.
that clearly Junior is on his way at some point, and we've
Yeah.
now had official confirmation that he is on his way. There was a trailer released, very nice trailer with like them all in a boxing ring, but there was Cindy in there was Elaine in there, the girls in there as well. So clearly the Junior is going to be causing some drama.
Mm.
Do you think that there might be something to do with Cindy in there?
Well, has George Jr. had something with Cindy in the past, do you
I
think?
would not put it past her
Do
for
you
a
think?
millisecond.
I mean, I was wondering because surely we might have had that mention between George Senior, as we're probably now going to have to call him, and Cindy. Would they have not mentioned it somewhere along the way? But then maybe It's just that George Jr.'s tried it on with Cindy, maybe, or something. But for all we know, what if he's actually Anna's dad?
I mean, nothing, and nothing's beyond the realms of possibility, is it?
Right?
I mean, we don't know a huge amount about about
No,
Junior's
George
mum,
Junior's
Junior.
mum,
We're just going to
yeah.
call him Junior,
Call him Junior. Okay.
Junior. We don't
Okay.
know a lot about Junior's mum. All we know at the minute, I think, is that her name was Sabrina, and that was
Mm,
before George met Cindy.
yeah.
So I wonder, I don't know if we even know whether she's still alive or not. If
No,
so,
and
then Sabrina Knight showing up's going to be a day. That's a good name. It's not as good as Jazzy Phoenix,
um
but it's still a good name.
also, were you surprised that Junior looks a little bit older than I was expecting?
He does, but then I kind of thought, yeah, it makes sense. So clearly, George will. This is his firstborn, George is.
Mm.
So that he's clearly going to be
Have we been
like.
told his age roughly?
No, we haven't. I don't know what the
No,
age
I didn't
difference is
think we had.
between them, but this is a relationship that
So he could
spans
have been quite
decades.
young.
Yeah, he could have been
Mm,
quite young. I don't know when he met Sabrina, so I think we'll find out more about that
mm,
as as sort of the weeks go on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be good. I have to say,
mm.
I am loving everything going on with George at the moment. It's really, really
Yeah,
interesting.
same,
Yeah,
same. But so I don't know. Well, this is not a spoiler. If you've seen the trailer, you can see
you're
that they're in a
supposed to see
boxing
trailers.
ring.
Come on, guys, you're supposed
Yeah.
to see
So
trailers.
he's in a boxing ring.
Mm,
So what do you think he's going to meet him at one of these fight clubs or something? Is that how they're going
maybe,
to
maybe.
bump into each other? Or I just don't understand why they're in a boxing ring. I'm feeling like that's somehow
I mean,
relevant.
it's very George themed, isn't it? And I think maybe the gloves are off. That seems to be the theme of the trailer. So there's clearly
Mm,
going to be some fighting.
I
There's
just
clearly going to be
feel
some
like
drama. They've got to think
this
outside the
week.
box with this stuff, Ree. Think outside the box.
Well, no, because there is a reason. Because
Abstract.
I've also thought that George has been a little bit like we've seen bits from this week, but there's been a definite distance. And I know that he's grieving, but to me, it's because he's
Yeah.
still going off to the fight club and doing his thing, and they're all
Hmm.
kind of maybe
Could
just
be.
letting
Could be.
him.
Could be. Could be.
So I'm wondering, is that I don't know, because I'm sure we know that Junior's like a boxer as well, or something. Oh, have I got
Yeah.
that in my head? I've
I
got
don't
that in my
know,
head.
but yeah, possibly. I don't
Anyway,
know. I
that's
mean,
what. Anyway.
but I'm really looking forward to this. Very, very exciting. I think there's going to be some connection with Cindy. I feel like the way that trailer was framed as
Yeah,
well, that
yeah.
there's going to be something between Cindy and Elaine at some point. That whole
Hmm.
thing with George and Cindy is going to kind of come to a head around that time, I think, as
Oh, of
well.
course, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Have the
So,
kids.
yeah, any minute now. Any minute
Anything, I was
now.
just thinking.
Any moment now. Right. So yeah, looking forward to that, and we will
Mhm.
discuss that when it happens in the coming
Yes.
weeks. Right, ladies and gents, on to the final story of the week now, and that is Stevie. Right, final story of the week now. Oh my God, I loved this. This was great. So this was Jay and Nadine, and we finally have Stevie back on the square. Can I be honest with you? I genuinely thought they'd forgotten about this story. Or
Oh,
at the
did
very
you?
least, or at the very least, I thought that something had happened, or like maybe the actor had become unavailable or something, and they just kind of thought, "Oh, I guess we'll just forget
We'll
about
leave it
that then."
then.
Yeah, because I think it was January when we first met
Yeah,
this bloke, wasn't it?
been a
Yeah, it was
while actually.
Aunt Sal's
Yeah,
funeral. It's been a fair few months, but we finally get Stevie Mitchell back on the
because
screens this week.
he's seen Honey proposing to Billy at the
Yes,
marathon.
yes, it's all
Yeah, so
connected. They know what
they
they're
know what
doing.
they're
They
doing.
know what
Oh,
they're
come
doing.
on.
Um, what are your thoughts on this bloke?
I think he seems like a really nice guy.
I mean, he does, doesn't he? Really? Like
Yeah.
he's. I've. So this is the thing with him, right? Okay, so I feel like one of two things are going to happen.
Mm,
Either he's going to turn out to be dodgy, or
mm.
he's going to be dead by June.
Yeah, I think he's going to be dead by June. I
That
definitely,
tends to be
maybe
how
not
these sorts
June,
of stories
but
go.
yeah, like
Like,
soon.
I'm
I mean, it's
dying, so
May
I
now.
wanted. I'm dying, so I wanted to
It's
sort of things out with you before I went. You know, that sort of
either
thing.
that, but I think biologically, men tend to soften in older age. So maybe he was this awful guy. Maybe he has just genuinely softened and looked back on his life and gone, look at all these mistakes I've made, and maybe genuinely wants to make amends. And I don't know, because
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know. He's still like Billy says that he's a chancer and stuff, and we're still seeing that side to him very much so along the way. And
yeah,
did Phil describe him as a bit of a scrounger?
yeah.
And
Phil doesn't trust him either,
he's getting
so
free drinks off Elaine. He's managed to get free. I mean, it's not that hard to be fair.
no, Elaine just hands them out. Have a drink
Yeah,
on the house. Ah.
you got it.
Um, So yeah, but then he was getting other free stuff as well. Managed to get a free taxi, managed to get a free dry cleaning off
That was
Yolandi.
so stupid with a taxi. I'm sorry. It's like taxi drivers just not said anything. It's like, are you joking? A London cabbie's just going to go, all right, old man. Yeah, you can have
Yeah,
that
go
for
on.
free.
Yeah, go on.
No, come
Yes.
on.
So this basically is all mixed in with the Nadine being pregnant in inverted commas storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what kind of happens is Stevie arrives on the square and basically just turns up out of nowhere. Like he's seen the proposal, like we say from the London Marathon, and literally
Mm-hmm.
just turns up in the Vic. And at first, he kind of gets the reaction he claims that he's expecting. Like Billy tells him to go away, Phil tells him to
Mm-hmm.
go away, everyone kind of giving him the cold shoulder. And then he kind of keeps kind of popping back and sort of basically working his way in and becoming useful. And this is the thing that makes me
Worming
wonder.
his way in.
Well, this is the thing that kind of makes me wonder because with everything that happens with
Mm.
Nadine, I kind of think that all worked very nicely to his advantage.
Yeah, I know. A part of me were wondering if we were going to be connected to Nadine, but obviously we
Yeah,
weren't.
I did wonder that at some point. Yeah.
I think he just sussed her there quite early.
Mm.
Like you say, can't kid a kidder, can you? So like, oh, you're
Well,
up
I
to
mean,
something,
my
love.
God, that whole reveal was brilliant. I
Yeah,
absolutely
that
loved
was
it.
great.
Like
Yeah.
the whole right. So basically, we meet Olivia this week. Now, if you remember, Olivia
Oh
kind of
yeah.
appeared on. I feel like there's more to happen there. By the way, I feel like there's something else going on there. I don't think we've seen the last of Nadine.
You don't think it's the last of Nadine then?
No, I
I
really
see. I
don't.
thought it would just. I literally were like, why have they brought Nadine back? Oh, they just brought her back so that Stevie can somehow look better out of this situation.
She's been moved into the regular section of the credits, though.
Ooh.
Why
Oh.
would you just leave her
Oh.
there? Why wouldn't you just leave her at the bottom if you were only bringing her back for a week?
So what they're gonna? You know, you're on it with these credits, Rob. So what
I
are they
always
gonna
pay
do with
attention
her?
to that. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So she must be.
So
Okay. So she's not weren't just back for this.
no, I feel like there's more to come with her, and good because I like the
Hmm.
character. I think she's interesting.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this whole thing with Olivia, essentially, what happens is the story we're being led to believe is that this girl Olivia was really jealous of Nadine's accomplishments at university, so basically blackmailed her when she found out about all the ketamine and the sex
Because
work and all that kind of thing.
she's got into some law firm over Nadine or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh
The
no, Nadine's
story
got in
doesn't.
over her. Sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't feel fully formed to me. I feel like there's more to it than that.
I don't know. It does seem a
Because
bit
wouldn't you just
believable because
go?
obviously
Wouldn't
she's trying to get into a law
yeah? But
profession.
wouldn't you just
That
deny
would.
it? Like, what proof has she got?
That's no, I don't know
Like,
actually. I'd have
if
to.
any place is going to ask you for proof of something, it's going to be a law school.
And
You
you'd
know,
think that Nadine
evidence,
would have been smart enough to
evidence,
cover her
and
tracks as well if
blackmail.
she
That's
knows.
just as illegal as anything the dean's doing. So there's something
So
else
you
going
don't
on there.
believe that? Ah, so you don't
No.
believe it's just that?
No, I don't.
Well, then
Because there
why?
was a big thing.
Okay.
There was a big thing made of looking at her. Like when we saw her looking at her phone, we saw the name Olivia, and then we sort of meet this girl, and even Olivia was like, "I don't like doing this. Like I'm not happy about it." There's something else going on there. I'm telling you, there is other.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
other.
she
There's
did
other.
say that. Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah,
then she went, how do you think I feel?
yeah. There's other layers going on to that. I'm sure. We ain't seen the last of
Oh,
Nadine.
yeah, you've
Telling you
got a
now.
point.
Telling you
Oh,
now,
I
we ain't
didn't
seen the
see
last of
that.
Nadine.
Yeah.
But basically, aside from that, that's that she sat in Bill's ears, and then like once Olivia's walked off, she kind of starts getting annoyed with the fake bump she's got on her, starts like moving it around, and then kind of like Stevie is sat on the other end of the restaurant. Probably got that meal for free as well, by the way. Probably just
Yeah,
like
well, I don't know. I don't know if he'll have got
probably
a freebie off Ian. Maybe Cindy.
yeah, maybe Cindy, or whoever else works there. Um, and like Stevie's like, saw that. So you're faking all that, yeah? That's not real. And so we had this really nice scene where Stevie basically is like telling Nadine like you're doing this to the wrong bloke, all right? Jane's a good bloke. So Nadine tries to blackmail him, and for a second you really want Stevie to say no to it, don't you? I feel like that's the thing I got from that. So
Hmm.
you wanted Stevie to be on the side of the Mitchells.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But well, he was. He was. He would. He knew
Well, he
how to
took the
handle the
money.
situation, though. I think. Yeah, but he gave it back. Did he give it all back?
No, we kind of chucked it at her, and then Dean just walked out without it. So I think he then gave it to Lexi to give to Jay. So he didn't
But did
keep
he
it.
take a bit out of it
I don't know. I
first?
don't think
That's
so.
what
I mean, I would have done.
I actually
I would have done.
rewound it and like I can't quite tell.
No,
But that seems
I
like
think he
something
gave
he
it.
would have done.
I think he gave it all to. I think he
All
gave it all to
back.
Lexi.
Wow.
So what we have is a reveal scene in the Vic. It's brilliant. This scene where like he gets his walking stick. So he's been walking around with this walking stick all the time, right? And he basically just pokes the dean in the stomach and just
And they're all
lifts up
going,
her
oh,
dress. Yeah,
yeah,
thinking that he's gone mad and he's just poking this pregnant woman in the stomach with a walking stick, and then lifts up her dress, and the cushion thing is revealed. And it was just a
yeah,
really, it was a great duff on Wednesday. I really
yeah,
enjoyed it.
you were.
So then Jay kind of goes into fairly predictable sort of territory, goes a bit mad, tries to go on a
J mode.
bender,
Hmm.
meets kind of nearly goes back onto the drugs again. But again, Stevie sort of is there, sort of blocking that and saying, look, you don't need to do this. You haven't let anybody down yet. This is where you turn around and you make things better before it
Why is
gets
he trying to
worse.
be besties with Jay so much? Do you think
This is
he's
the
just
thing.
found an in?
Yeah, there's a side of me that I mean I really like him as a character. I think he's really
Yeah.
interesting, but at the same time, I don't know whether I 100% trust him yet.
No, it's almost, I don't know, it's almost like he's manipulating it so
Mm.
well. But then I don't know why he's, well, actually, no.
Because that Nadine
It's,
situation fell into his hands. Do you know what I mean? Like that couldn't have gone better for him.
I guess it's because Jay and like Lexi don't know him personally. So it's like,
Mm.
well, there's no point me trying to get through you, get through to Billy and Phil because they know my
Mm.
past. You guys don't know me. I'm just a
Yeah.
gentle old guy. So
Well, I'll work on Jay. I'll work on Lexi. Lexi's enamored by him instantly. Like Lexi really likes him. I mean, how many 11-year-olds get
yeah,
to meet their great granddad? To be fair, so
I know, right? But
I
did you
am.
like the scene where obviously he stops Jay from making a mistake and doing
Mm.
the drugs, and they end up going back to Callum, Jay, and Lexi's flat, and Billy and Phil are there, and then they're having a drink, and then later on you see him having a drink with
Yeah, he's
Callum
just
and
having a great
Jay.
time. Yeah,
And I didn't really, I thought it was so cleverly done how Billy and Phil just stood in the kitchen behind watching on. So we're expecting them to still,
still be there, just watching from the
they're
outside,
like,
like
oh
really
my
miserably.
God.
Yeah, I mean,
What do we know about Stevie though? Like, what do we
so
actually already know?
okay, so let me get this right. So he is. This is completely off the top of my head because the Mitchell family tree is bloody
Right.
complicated.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's
he
Eric's brother,
is.
right?
Yeah. So well, he's Stevie's. Stevie is the dad of Charlie and Billy, and then Charlie is the dad of Jamie,
Yeah.
who came to live with Billy, and Billy
Yeah.
knocked him about a bit, and that's how
Mm.
that
And then he
sort of
got
whole
with
thing
Sonia,
played out.
and then he
And he got
got
with
run over,
yeah. So
and he had
we know
great
Jamie's story.
curtains.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and do you know what? He's hot as hell these days. Have you seen Jack Ryder recently?
I
Oh,
haven't actually, no. He were a heartthrob when he were in it,
he was a
weren't he?
heartthrob, but now he's a modern day heartthrob. Like he's lost the
Oh, was
curtains, and
he?
he was in
Ah, okay.
Hollyoaks a while back, and oh,
I would have hoped he'd lost the curtains, to be fair.
yeah, it's a very 90s thing, wasn't it? It's very
Yeah.
90s, the curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole
Yeah.
take that look, that was a thing back
Hmm.
in the 90s. Not that I was born in the 90s, obviously. Um, and I wish.
Mm.
But then the mum was called Janet. There was a bit of confusion this week because I'm fairly sure that Billy's mum was called Janet, which is who Janet is named after. But
Yeah.
he called her Val or something this week. So I don't know whether they got the name wrong or whether something else has gone on there. I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, yeah, he
They got,
did.
yeah,
Or
I
has he had a
don't
second wife or
yeah,
something?
maybe. I think people maybe got a bit confused because that's who Janet is named after. So
Oh, well,
why
maybe
else would
he
you
had
call her?
another
Why else
partner.
would you call a girl in this day and age Janet? For God's sake,
Maybe he had another partner. You don't
maybe,
know.
maybe.
Sorry to any Janets out there. Lovely name, Janet
Yes, yeah, it's a
Jackson.
lovely
You
name,
know,
but
could easily be named after
I don't think there's many there's not many
not
little
many
girls
baby
these days.
Janets.
No, not
No.
maybe baby Janets these days. Show me the register that tells me how many Janets were born in the last 10 years, please. Um, so yeah, I that's basically where he comes from and where he fits into the family tree. But yeah, I
But I mean,
can't
what do
help.
we know about why the
Well, not a lot.
circumstances around Billy? I didn't
He
think we knew that
left. He
much.
basically just
Yeah.
walked out, kind
Mm,
of, and then all we basically know about him is that he's a bit dodgy and that
mm.
he walked away from his family, and Billy's found it really hard to kind of forgive him from there because he had to go into care, and that was a whole thing with Billy a few years
Was he
ago that he.
in the was he in the flashback episode that we had when they did the robbery with Keeble's
I
dad?
don't think he was. Charlie was. Uh,
Right.
Charlie
Okay. Yeah.
was. I don't think we met
That's what I
Stevie in
was
the
trying to
flashback.
remember, but I think must have been thinking of Charlie then.
But it was quite helpful that we met Charlie in that flashback
Mm,
because I don't feel
mm.
like I feel like this era has actually done wonders for Billy as a character because I think Billy sort of we've not really explored Billy's backstory in a long time,
That is
and
true, actually. Yeah.
so to give us a bit more insight into what Billy's past life
Mm.
was like and sort of just remind us of his immediate family was really helpful, especially
I
now
mean,
that
it must be bad if Phil's like, stay away. Like Phil is adamant that this guy's bad.
Yeah.
So what exactly has he
And
done
what
that
does
is
Phil know?
that?
Because Phil's
Yeah,
always got a
exactly.
secret, hasn't he? So what does Phil know?
Mm.
Yeah,
There's
very
more to come
interesting.
there. So maybe he has done something like horrendous. So we're just seeing this nice guy act and believing it. Like
This
I
is the
say,
thing.
I
I
do
don't
think when
believe it
people
though.
get older, or like you're saying, like, is he on his deathbed?
Mm.
So you don't believe any of it at all. You don't think that he's a
I
guy that
mean,
could have just softened in age and he's got regrets about his life.
there is a difference between being someone that we're meant to see as a villain and being someone who's a bit of a dodgy, like
Mm,
Rocky or Alfie. Like he could be more on the Rocky side of things, where he's just a little bit of a chance or a little bit of a dealer. Will
mm,
occasionally do something that's quite questionable, but
mm.
deep down is a fairly good guy. Or something really horrible has happened and he's
He must have
trying
done
to
something really
find
horrible
repentance
because
for it.
I don't feel like, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing that he walked out on Billy and Kerr, but I don't feel like Phil would be as resentful to him because of that. I
Yeah,
don't think, I think it must be something a bit more
Billy's
to
whole
it.
Billy's whole thing is the fact that you walked out, and that's why I had to go into care. That's
Yeah.
Billy. That's Billy's
So
problem.
why does Phil?
Phil, on the other hand, yeah, it feels like Phil is holding something back.
Mm,
I'm waiting for a bit of a scene between him and Phil at some point to sort of
yeah.
maybe get a bit more
Rob,
insight into what's gone
we're
on.
forgetting something major that
Which
how we
is
know that he's a villain,
he smokes. He
right?
smokes.
And he even tried to light up indoors,
He
so he
did.
must be a super villain,
And
right?
the last bloke that did that was Eddie. So Eddie smoked indoors. As we always
See?
know, if you're
See?
smoking soaps, you're a bad person these
And
days.
if you're doing it indoors,
You're
then
oh,
wow. So,
then
okay. Right, he is a villain then. He's
he's
done
the
something
smokes. He
horrendous.
smokes
He's
because
smoking
we're only
and
supposed to see
inside.
smokers as bad people these days. Don't forget that, Ree.
Yeah. Not that we're saying that, but it's Soapland. That is a definite thing.
So yeah, really interesting. So go on then,
Mm.
give me some. If you had to like nail this down and like predict it officially for what's going to happen with this, where do you think it's going to go? Bit of dead air. Go on.
I know, sorry. I'm trying. You put me on the spot sometimes, Rob, and I'm like, I feel like there's going to be like, now you said the Nadine thing. So is there going to be, I feel like is he going to actually, or is he going to end up being like Jay's real granddad somehow and he had some see or some kind of actual relation? I don't know because
Well,
the Jay thing, I don't understand why he's so invested in
well,
Jay when he's not a
you know,
real Mitchell in inverted commas.
Well, you know how the theories tend to go when
Hmm.
somebody mysterious turns up. A few people are hypothesizing that he might actually be Phil's dad, and that something happened with Peggy many years ago. I don't believe that myself. I feel like that's not true, but that's a theory that
Hmm.
some people are throwing around,
Okay, yeah,
and that
yeah. I
so and
mean,
so and so via that, Billy and Phil would actually be half brothers,
brothers, yeah. Nah,
which I don't think I believe
no.
yet.
Oh, but why was he at Aunt Sal's funeral? So there's got to be a connection there, maybe.
Mm.
And
We
when he
have a
said,
lot more to find out about him, I think, and I
because
think we'll
it
find
don't
more
make
out next
sense,
week.
really, that he was at Peggy's sister's funeral. We said
You've
that
been
at the
obsessed.
time
You
as
no,
well.
you said that at the time. You've been
Well,
obsessed
I
with
said
that.
that
You've been obsessed with that since the moment it was on Sal's funeral was
because why
announced.
would he be there? He's not related to
Because he's a
her. It's
Mitchell.
his sister-in-law's sister. So why was
Well,
he? I don't know. Well, but all right, maybe he just, he knew her and yeah, she were a family member, but
yeah, I think
looking at
that's
why is he back
enough.
and what's going
I
on?
think that's
Come on, it's
enough. Like,
Soapland.
yeah,
Oh.
I think maybe that was even enough. Like, if he's been thinking all this time, right, I want to try and make amends. Oh, right, Aunt Sal's funeral's coming up. I'll go to that.
Oh, I might see some of the relative. Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
fair. Like Phil
maybe.
might be there and
Yeah,
yeah.
Billy will
Okay.
definitely be there. I know Billy will be there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he wanted to make
Oh,
amends with Billy.
okay.
So that's why he then went to the funeral because he knew that Billy was going to be there.
Yeah. All
Possibly.
right, fair enough. Okay.
Possibly.
Other than that, Rob, if I'm honest with you, I actually have no idea where this is headed because I thought he's a nice guy, but he can't be.
Or
So I don't
alternatively,
actually
he's just a
know.
lonely old man. He wants some
Hmm.
comfort in his last years. It could be
Hmm.
any of this. I'm very intrigued to find
Hmm.
out though. I really, really like Stevie.
Yes.
Can't wait to find out what's gone on. And let us know in the comment section where you think the Stevie storyline is going. Do you trust him? Is he a goodie? Is he a baddie? Is he a middly? Let us know what you think. Gold star this week, Ray. Who are you giving your gold star to this week? I bet
I've
I can
been
guess.
torn between two people, but I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to give it to our Queen Bianca.
I thought
because
you
she's
might.
she's only here for a few weeks as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
did rather enjoy those slaps that she gave. So Bianca.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give mine to Stevie. I think I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
that's
Stevie
who
this
my
week.
other
Yeah.
alternative was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bianca and Stevie for the gold stars this week. Let us know who your gold stars are going to. And as usual, the final section of the podcast is comments from you lovely people.
So comments, Rob. I've got one from our Instagram page from Els Bells who says, was a good one. Glad they didn't drag out the Nadine J storyline.
See, I saw a few people saying that they're glad that
Mm.
whole fake pregnancy thing sort of got resolved quite quickly. And to be
Mhm.
honest with you, I wasn't that again. I quite like the idea. I like fake pregnancy storylines sometimes because they tend to be really, really camp.
I know
Like,
what you're saying, but I think there must be a reason why it's ended so soon,
well,
especially now you're saying that Jazzy Phoenix is in the middle of the
yeah,
credits.
yeah.
So there must be more to it
There's
all.
more to come with
Did you
that.
also notice that Stevie said to her like that story about someone who used to fake heart attacks, and then he said maybe you should go and get a real pregnancy test or something because he was like, but then it
I'd
wouldn't be
say,
Jay's,
I
would
mean,
it? I
I
don't
just find it
think.
hilarious what Nadine's plan actually was. Like, because she was sat there going, "Oh no, yeah, well, if we need to win Billy rounds, I'll take a DNA test. That's fine. It can come to a
Oh, when I'm
scan.
settled in my new place,
Yeah, he
and
can come to a scan. Screw it. I'll let him come. He can come in for the birth. Yeah, that's fine. Come in. I'll give him
well,
birth to my cushion. Yeah, it was like,
it
how
was
far was she planning on pushing this?
because it
When
was
did you
never
think
going
this
to
was going to
last.
work
Because
till?
it wasn't ever going to last that long though. Because she reckoned that she was about 7 months along, so she would have only been able to do it for a couple of
Yeah.
months
So she
anyway.
could at least have given herself a bit
True.
more time. But I've
Yeah.
just discovered that I'm pregnant. But then that wouldn't have worked, would it? Because of the dates.
The
That's
timings.
why
Yeah,
she had to
yeah.
do it that way. But it was just
Mhm.
like how I don't know how she thought this was going to
I
work.
still
How much
don't
money did she
buy,
think she was going to get off Jay in that short amount of time to
and
set
this is
sort of
it.
this debt?
I still don't buy why did she go to Jay out of all the clients? He's not
Well,
exact.
this
I doubt
is.
that he was the richest client that she had,
But then
surely.
I think what we've
Oh
been led
yeah,
to
the
believe is
nice
that
guy thing.
it was
Yeah.
the most it was the only because she said to Steve that most of the rubber clients would have just kicked her in the stomach.
Yes, that is true. She did. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's kind of she kind of
Oh
thought
wow.
Jay was her best bet,
Yeah. Fair
I
enough.
guess.
Hmm.
We did get quite a few comments about Stevie. Seems to be quite popular.
Oh.
Emily Ann Wiltshire said, "I'm absolutely loving Billy's dad, loving how he exposed Nadine, then really looks out for Jay. Hope Billy gives him a chance." Pamela Brown says, "Think Stevie is dying and has returned to make amends." And Tammy Tablestead, "I hope Stevie is legit. I don't want to call him decent too early, though." So people like him, and it's not surprising because he came across really, really well this week. But that's how you
Mm.
do a twist, isn't it? And then he'll
Yeah.
have some evil reveal at the end. But I really hope that he doesn't. I'm happy for him to be on the same sort of level as Rocky, where he will do some questionable things, but deep down as a decent guy.
Hmm. But
But
we don't know enough yet,
he's
do
a
we? And
Mitchell.
like we
He's a
said, the Phil
Mitchell.
stuff as well. Phil, he's not
Mm,
exactly perfect himself, so the reason that he's so against him, he must have done something bad, I'm thinking.
yeah, there's something. There's
There's
much
more
more to
to it.
discover. There's much more to
Yes.
discover. I look forward to it. And it
Mm.
seems that we'll be having some more from Stevie next week, so we'll sort of see how that goes. Marvelous. If you would like to get in touch with us and throw us any of your theories or questions or comments, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, indeed you can. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Next week, we have the two-hander between Patrick and Yolandi, and you can expect me to be a quivering mess on the floor because I'll be that excited about it. I love a two-hander. That is my favourite sort of episode. If it was up to me, we'd have about 5 of them a year.
I
They
agree. And
used
it's
to,
two strong characters and two strong
two
actors to be
st-
getting it from as well.
and a ridiculously strong writer as well in
Oh
Lauren
yeah,
Clee.
let's not forget. Yeah, it's going to be a
Dame
good one.
Queen Lauren Clee, who we're
Gonna be a
massive
good
fans of.
one.
Going to be a good one. Make sure you're here to see our reaction to the fallout from that. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Bye for me.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.